some parabolas that are now in standard form. Okay, the standard way to go through this graph, actually the typical way to graph anything if you're not sure, is to plot some points and hope you get enough to be able to figure out what's going on. But in this particular video I'm going to show you a very, very cute technique that's going to allow us to only have to graph one single point. And then we can infer the graph, and if you want to be more specific you just have to graph more points. But even if you have to graph more points, it gives you a very good point to graph. And we're going to find what's called the vertex. And the way we find the x-coordinate of the vertex is via negative b over 2a. You might even recognize this as part of the quadratic formula. Okay, so in our problem here, negative 3x squared plus 24x, let's calculate negative b over 2a. Negative b over 2a for us would be negative 24 over 2 times negative 3. In other words, it would be negative 24 divided by negative 6, and that would be the number 4. So x equals 4. Then I'm going to use a calculator to figure out what happens when I plug 4 into that equation. So I get negative 3 times 4 squared plus 24 times 4 minus 43, and that gives me the number 5. So if you have to plot more points, just go ahead and graph like 3 and 2 and 5 and 6, because that's going to give you 2 points to the left and 2 points to the right. But here on the computer, or in this video, I'm just going to go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, recognize that this is a vertex of the graph, and then interpret that negative 3 to say that it must be opening in a downward direction. So as a very rough graph, I know that my parabola is going to be opening in a negative or downward direction from there, and there's my very rough graph. So for example, in my class, for most intents and purposes, this is a good sketch of the graph. But if you need more information, I know that you can probably plug it in, but that's enough to get you a good amount of points quickly on a quiz or something like that in our timed quizzes. So why don't we try again? Pause the video if you'd like to and try this one on your own if you want, and let's do it together, assuming you had a chance to pause if you wish. And let's calculate what the vertex is. So the vertex will occur at x equals negative b, negative 12 over 2 times a, 2 times negative 2. That would be negative 12 over negative 4, and so it's going to occur at 3. So if I had to make a t-table, I would make my t-table centered around 3, put a couple points ahead and a couple points further behind. And then what happens when you plug 3 into the equation? Get negative 2 times 3 squared plus 12 times 3 minus 16 gives me the number 2. So in the graph, it means we'll go to 3, comma, 2, and that's going to be the vertex. And again, the number in front of the x squared being negative implies that the graph is going to be moving in a downward type direction. If I needed more information, I would plug in more numbers to get more accuracy, but this is enough to get a general shape of the graph.